I remember when me and her were doing the Devil's Tango. Her eyes rolled back, and I am not joking, this girl was a demon. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to a super weird, and I gotta say, embarrassing story. So this story takes place back in my grade 10 year, and in grade 10, I'm not gonna lie, like I usually say in almost every video, I was a major player to the point where I'm not gonna lie, a lot of girls didn't like me, but a lot of girls like to put me to the test. If you guys don't know what I mean by that, basically, I would have like some girls that would come up to me and basically challenge me to do the Devil's Tango with them because they didn't believe I was actually that good at doing the Devil's Tango. But I remember there was one certain girl that I knew in my school that was a massive, well, how do I put this? She would do the Devil's Tango more than me. And I'm not gonna lie to you, when a girl has a higher body count than I do, I find it kind of suspicious, but at the same time, kind of a game. Because like I said earlier, I was a massive player, right? So meeting a girl like me is sometimes really scary. But I remember one time I was hanging out with a group of boys in the cafeteria, and all of us were just talking about, basically our notches and our body counts, typical stuff most boys talk about, other than sports and the stock market, obviously. But at the same time, none of us really actually cared for the stock market. But like I was saying earlier, we were all talking about this, and then out of nowhere, I remember there was a girl that was kind of sitting near us that heard our whole conversation. And when she heard that my body count was almost higher than hers, I remember she walked up to me and said, "Wait, you're Bubba, right?" Yeah, what's going on? Well, like, I don't know, I just heard like your body count's way higher than mine. Are you like actually able to like, do the job right? I remember I looked at this girl and I did not know what to say because obviously, it's kind of weird when someone just confronts you like that, especially a girl. So I looked at her and said, like, I don't know, I like to stay humble, I guess. And she ended up smiling. She ended up basically telling me afterwards, "Oh, like, just give me your phone real quick." And she ended up grabbing my phone and putting her number in, not even her Snapchat, not any other social media, just her number. And she told me, hit me up after. And she walked away. I remember all the boys looked at me, and one of the boys ended up telling me, "Yo, Bubba, you know who that was, right?" No, who was that? Bro, that girl, I'm not joking, she's almost a bigger player than you. Like, I'm not joking, almost every guy in the school has done her. And I kind of got disgusted. I got really grossed out because obviously, like, for girls to have a high body count is kind of rare, I guess. And in a way, like, it just didn't sit well with me personally. I know that's really weird for me to say once again, but honestly, it is what it is. I remember, like, the day went on, and I ended up going and walking around the school, but every time I would walk around the school going to my next class or just heading to the field, randomly at moments I would end up seeing this girl looking at me and staring at me around the hallway in the school. So at that point I knew that she really just wanted my attention, and she just really wanted to talk to me, I guess, like, interact with me. So I ended up texting her when I got to my next class and texted her saying, "Hey," with 3 Y's. I don't know why I put 3 Y's. Apparently it's like a flirty way of saying hello to someone, but honestly I decided to shoot my shot with this girl and see what she was really about. I remember she instantly texted me back, and me and her, we got into really deep conversations about, how we didn't see having a high body count was a weird thing, and how we basically did not really care emotionally so much about doing the Devil's Tango, and we just wanted to do it. Also, I'm gonna mention a quick warning on the channel. I just want to say no one should do what I do. I'm not trying to promote doing the Devil's Tango. Like, this was my mindset back when I was a teenager, and honestly hormones really took over me compared to actually using my brain. So don't do what I do, please, I beg of you. I remember as me and this girl were texting still though, out of nowhere she ended up sending me a photo, and I ended up opening it, and I saw it was a photo of her cherries, but she took this photo in the school bathroom. I found this really weird, and at the same time I did end up getting bricked. And she texted me saying, "Do you want to meet up with me real quick?" I can't, I'm in class right now." When has that ever stopped you? I really just can't. I don't know, I have to actually pay attention. Now usually in my grade 10 year I would go out of my way and actually go see this girl and probably do the Devil's Tango with her somewhere in the school. But honestly at this time when it was happening, I'm not gonna lie, I think I was failing my class almost, so obviously I wanted to pay attention more than actually, do what I usually would do. So I remember I ended up shutting off my phone fully, and basically I ended up paying attention to class. But out of nowhere, as I'm in the middle of just class and this teacher was teaching me something, I ended up looking to my left where the door was for the classroom, and I saw the girl that was texting me ended up walking in and saying, "Hey, sorry to disturb, apparently the counselor wants to talk to you." I remember I looked at her questioning why in the world the counselor would want to talk to me out of nowhere. But then afterwards I started realizing she ended up winking at me, and when me and her, we ended up walking out of the classroom, she instantly came on top of me and started making out with me in the hallway. Like, me and her weren't even 5 inches away from the door yet, and she was already like hopping on me like crazy. I found this mind-blowing, and I found this really, really weird, and told her right after, "Yo, I don't think we should do this. Like, honestly, we need to calm down, okay? Like, I understand, like, you really want to do it with me, but like, we can actually like make up a proper time and date to do this. You know what I'm saying?" Yeah, sorry, I guess I can't control myself. I'm just more active than you, I guess. What do you mean more active than me? Like, I probably want it more than you do. Well, no, it's not like that. I just, I just gotta focus in class. No, I get it. You have your priorities straight. And she ended up walking away. I ended up going back into the classroom, and the teacher found it really odd how I left the classroom for literally less than like 2 minutes to go apparently talk to the counselor. And yeah, one thing led to another. I knew at that moment that this girl was some type of crazy. I remember when school ended that day, I ended up basically texting this girl saying, hey, like, I'm down to like meet up after school if you want. We could like probably like go do something. What do you want to do? I don't know. Me and you could, I guess, walk around the mall and eventually, I don't know, maybe head back to my place if you're down. Which I was luckily able to say because my parents weren't going to be home that day. So obviously I could have a girl over and do the Devil's Tango. And I remember when I told this girl that, she ended up sending me a winky face and then the tongue emoji. Yeah, really out of nowhere. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, hey, I'm not gonna complain. Because like I said earlier, I was a major player. So this was really not uncommon for me, but it was very uncommon for a girl to want it this much. But later on, I'm telling you guys right now, you guys are gonna see why she wanted it this much. Because I remember when me and her, we actually met up in front of the school finally. Me and her, we ended up walking to the mall together. And when we walked around the mall, the whole time, the only plan that she had in mind was to make me bricked. Like there would be moments when we're just sitting down and all she would talk about is my eggplant. Like, bro, it was super weird because she's never even seen it either. So I didn't know what was wrong with this girl. And I'm like, okay, listen, you need to like calm down a bit, because it got to the point where I'm not gonna lie, I found her less attractive from how much she was wanting it. And then one thing led to another. I remember it was like getting late and I looked at her and said, hey, so you down to like, I guess, come over if you want? She ended up nodding her head yes. And me and her, we ended up basically heading straight to my place right after. When we finally got to my place, I remember me and her, we ended up going straight to the bedroom, obviously. And I sat down on my bed just to sit, by the way, not to do anything else. And out of nowhere, she decides to sit right on top of me. And me and her, we did the Devil's Tango, which I will say is no surprise. But honestly, I will say this. During the Devil's Tango, I am not joking. When she was looking at me the entire time, her eyes would roll up and like all you could see is just white in her eyes. Like, I don't know why she was rolling her eyes up like some weirdo, but like it became super gross. And I'm not gonna lie to you, every time I looked at her face, I instantly just wasn't bricked anymore. I was so grossed out because like when this girl would do this, I guess some people would find this attractive, but I really didn't. But this girl acted like a demon. Like her voice would get deeper and be like, oh yeah, like in really weird ways. And I got super grossed out and I ended up hopping off her and I'm like, yo, what in the world? Like, why do you sound like that? Why do you sound like a monster? What do you mean? I don't sound like a monster. Nah, but you acting like a demon, bro, in bed. Like, are you good, bro? Is what I told her right after. She ended up basically standing up and looking at me. She's like, what's your problem? Like, don't you like that? No, not really. If you can't handle me going demon mode, then I don't think you can handle any girl. And at that moment, I looked at her questioning what in the world did she just say to me? But as I was questioning it, she ended up getting up off my bed, putting on her clothes and leaving. She, no joke, just left my house as if nothing happened. I found this super weird and honestly, it made me question the morals of some women nowadays. But at the same time, am I really one to question it because of how much I've done growing up? I don't really know. But all I'm gonna say is that if you guys don't want this happen to you, in my opinion, just follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys. So I don't know if you guys believe in ghosts or not, but if you do, comment down below if you guys believe in ghosts, because today's story, well, I'm gonna be honest, I think I did it with a ghost. Does that make any sense? I don't know if it does, but you know what? Let's just continue on. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to an insane story. So today is a story about how I did it in an asylum. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Growing up, one thing I always knew were that ghosts are not real. I don't believe in ghosts, and to be honest, if someone told me, oh, like, ever been to this haunted mansion? I would walk in there not believing in ghosts. And I remember always, like, every Halloween, there would always be haunted houses and stuff, and I would never actually be scared of them because, well, once again, for the third time in a row, I don't believe in ghosts. But I remember there was this one time, and this was back when I was in grade 9, where I remember I was walking around my high school that I was pretty new to. It was my first semester, and I remember this was like the third month going into school, and the third month is October. Now, in October, I remember it was around Halloween, and people were getting really excited because obviously Halloween at school was a really big deal. People would dress up, people would wear crazy costumes, but me, I remember I really didn't care for it. It's not that I didn't like Halloween or, you know, don't dress up. It's just, I'm gonna be honest here, I kind of just never really celebrated Halloween. It was never a big deal in my household, and to be honest, Halloween just seemed dumb to me. Like, if I really wanted to dress up, why don't I just do that any day of the week? Like, if furries can do it, why can't we? Not the point, but going on. I remember one time I was walking through my high school 2 days before Halloween, and there was a girl that was basically gathering like a group of friends, and they were all talking about an asylum that was was near the school that they wanted to go to. Well, it wasn't really near the school. It was like 20 minutes away from the school, but basically this girl was going around saying, like, did you guys hear, like, the asylum's apparently haunted and it's abandoned. I think we should all go there tomorrow. And I remember when I heard about this, I remember smiling and kind of just laughing at the thought that, you know, these girls would go into an asylum and basically, you know, freak out over nothing. But then I remember when I was smiling near them, the girl ended up looking at me saying, Bubba, what are you laughing at? Nothing. The fact that you guys believe in, like, ghosts and, like, a haunted asylum is pretty dumb. What, you don't believe in ghosts? Are you not scared? Nope. Not at all. I remember this girl ended up smiling at me once I said that. And I remember she said right after, okay, well, like, do you want to come with us? I mean, I guess, sure, why not? I remember when I said that, 2 of the girls decided not to go. And then afterwards, it ended up just being me and 3 other girls. And knowing this, honestly, at first, I thought this was a really dumb idea. Until afterwards, when we ended up all going to class, I decided to pull up my phone and search up the asylum. And when I searched it up, I was actually kind of scared. Because knowing that the asylum was real was kind of a scary thought. But at the same time, on top of that, going in there, probably not the smartest thing. Now, once again, like I said earlier, I don't believe in ghosts. So I decided to basically swallow my fearness, if that makes any sense, and basically decided to just go and see what happens. I remember that same day, I ended up going home and telling my parents about what I was planning on doing the next day. And my dad ended up telling me to basically be safe. And, you know, he thought we were going to some, like, haunted house that was built, when in reality, we were actually going to an actual asylum. But to be honest, I guess he didn't understand that, but it's not like I need to give him the details, right? Because as teenagers, we never actually give our parents details. Like, that would just ruin all the fun. So I remember afterwards, I ended up going on my Xbox and started hopping on my Xbox live party with me and my friends. When we were on there, I remember I was telling him about the plan that was going to go down, and all my friends said that I was absolutely crazy, and ended up bringing up a story about how one of the people in our school ended up going in there last year and never came back out. Now, I never understood this, and honestly, I didn't really believe it, to be honest. So I ended up searching up articles online, and apparently it was real. Now, at this point, I started actually kind of getting worried. I kind of started getting scared a little bit, and to be honest, I kind of didn't want to go. So I decided the next day when I went to school, I walked up to the same girl that invited me, and I basically told her, yo, I don't think I can make it because, like, I got, like, family plans. Ha, I knew you would back out. You're such a wuss. I'm not backing out. It's just, you know, I had plans. Then ditch the plans, dummy, and just come on. You really want me to go, don't you? And then that's when she walked up to me and decided to basically, you know, kind of like put her hand down my chest and say, oh, like, I just want a big, strong, brave man with me. But if you're just a wuss, I'll just invite someone else. Now, at this point, I started realizing that this girl was really hot. And to be honest, if she wanted me to be, you know, her hero, why not? Because obviously, like I said, I'm a helpless romantic. Because the only amazing moments that I can remember is times I've had in the shower. Wow, I really need help, don't I? Going on from there, I remember I ended up telling her, okay, well, I'll be there. I'll help you out. And then she got all excited and basically ended up walking away. Now, at this point, I didn't know what to do. I was really worried, and all throughout the day, I was basically thinking about how I didn't want to go until after school came around, and I ended up actually going to the haunted asylum that was happening. I ended up busing there with this girl, and she had a camera out and like this like thermal eye scope thing that was happening. I don't know what they're called, like those thermal glasses or thermal thing. I don't know, something thermal. I don't know what it was, but it was really cool. And you know what's also really insane? She ended up bringing bulletproof vests. I don't know how she got them. Apparently her dad's a cop, but I'm not gonna say anything else more than that. I remember right after we ended up basically both walking in there, and as we were walking around, I remember I had my flashlight out and I started getting more scared the more I stepped in there, because obviously it was actually pretty scary. Like, imagine an empty hallway that like no one's around, and like, you know, the ceiling was falling down. It was just absolutely terrifying. And then I remember as we were walking down, this girl decided to basically hold my hand as we were walking through it. And as we were holding my hand, I remember we heard a really loud crashing sound to the left of us, and me and her, we ended up jumping to the right, and basically I ended up pushing her up against the wall with my chest hitting her cherries. And then from there, I remember she ended up grabbing me by the buttocks, and we basically ended up making out. We ended up making out in an asylum. Now, you guys were probably wondering where were the other 2 girls that were supposed to come, because I did say 3 of them were going. Well, 2 of them decided to stay back and basically be lookout for any cops coming by. So yeah, that's the only reason why me and the girl were in there. And I remember from there, me and her, we started making out in the asylum, and it got to the point where she actually ended up going on her knees. And yeah, I can't give any more detail or I'm gonna get demonetized, but you guys could probably guess what was going on. I'm not gonna reenact it, but it went a little something like this. Sorry. Okay, I'm done. I'm not doing that again. I know. I can't risk my monetization here. But going on from there, I remember as I was going on, basically me and her, we ended up doing the Devil's Tango. And it even got to the point where we went to a room in the asylum where there was actually like a mattress there. It was absolutely disgusting, but we still did it anyway. And one thing led to another. I remember she started making really loud noises in the asylum. When she was making really loud noises, I remember apparently the two girls that were standing outside thought that we were in trouble. So they ended up calling the cops anyway. And cops decided to pull up to the asylum and basically started running through there trying to find us. And where did the cops find us? Well, the cops found us basically inside each other. No, wait, that's not the best way to put it. Let's just say the cops ended up walking in on us at the asylum doing the Devil's Tango. I will say this much. I maybe didn't find any ghosts, but one thing I will say is that I had a pretty spooky night. Haha. That's not funny. Okay, please leave a like. I need help. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, fall for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.